Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. 2025 is not going to hand you success wrapped in a bow. This year is going to test you. It's going to push you. It's going to throw some storms your way. But what you build right now, right here, is not just strength. It's unbreakable mental strength. Mental strength isn't about never breaking down. It's about always getting back up. This is one of the biggest misconceptions people carry. They think being mentally strong means you're never supposed to feel pain or doubt or fear. But the truth is, the strongest people in the world are the ones who have faced the most adversity and still made the decision to stand tall again and again. See, life is going to knock you down. There's no avoiding that. You're going to go through heartbreak, disappointment, loss, failure. These aren't signs there's something wrong with you. They're signs that you're in the middle of the fight. They're proof that you're growing, that you're being tested, and that you still got more to give. It's not the people who avoid falling that we admire. It's the ones who hit rock bottom and use it as a foundation to build higher. Every single setback is an invitation to rise. Every fall is an opportunity to learn something new about your strength. When you build unbreakable mental strength, you don't look at failure as the end, you see it as feedback. You take the lesson, you adjust, and you try again. That's what separates the people who dream from the people who achieve. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even intelligence. It's grit. It's the decision to keep going, even when nothing seems to be working. You've got to understand, falling down is not weakness. It's part of the process. Cry if you need to. Feel the pain if you must, but never let it convince you to stay down. That's the difference. Mental strength is the voice inside that says, get up one more time, even when your body's tired, even when your heart's broken, even when your mind is telling you to give up. You rise anyway. You put one foot in front of the other and walk through the fire. And the more you do that, the stronger you become. The world isn't going to slow down for you. Life doesn't pause when you're hurting. That's why you've got to train your mind like a muscle. You don't get strong from comfort. You get strong from pressure, from discomfort, from being pushed past your limits. That's where resilience is born. And every time you rise after a fall, you're proving to yourself that you're tougher than the thing that tried to break you. That proof builds confidence. That confidence becomes courage. And that courage becomes a mindset that refuses to be defeated. When people see someone who seems calm in the middle of chaos, they think that person was born like that. But no, what they're seeing is someone who's been through enough storm to learn how to stand. Someone who's cried themselves to sleep and still woke up with fight in their spirit. Someone who's been underestimated, overlooked, maybe even broken, but refused to let that be the final chapter. That's mental strength. And it's not loud, it's quiet. It's in the moments nobody sees. It's in the decision to get out of bed when you'd rather stay under the covers. It's in the moment you choose to try again when failure is fresh on your shoulder. Building that kind of strength doesn't happen overnight. It's not a one-time decision. It's a lifestyle. It's showing up for yourself every day, even on the days when the mirror doesn't reflect the warrior you're becoming. It's a commitment to grow, to endure, and to believe that what's ahead of you is bigger than what's behind you. That belief, no matter how small it feels some days, is powerful. And if you nurture it, it becomes the foundation of a mind that won't be shaken. Discipline is the bridge between struggle and growth. You can have all the dreams in the world, all the motivation, all the ambition, but if you don't have discipline, you're never going to see the results you want. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. It's easy to feel excited when you're inspired, when things are going well, when you're seeing progress. But what about the days when nothing's moving? When the doors aren't opening, when everything feels heavy, that's when discipline steps in. Discipline is doing what you committed to long after the mood you committed in has faded. It's about showing up when it's not convenient, when it's not fun, when it's not easy. Discipline doesn't shout, it whispers. It's in the early mornings when the alarm goes off and your bed feels like the most comfortable place in the world, but you still get up. It's in those quiet evenings when everybody else is relaxing and you grind it because you know what you want. It's when you push the plate away, walk past the temptation, say no to the distraction, not because you feel like it, but because you focus on where you're heading. That's what builds strength. That's what builds character. Anybody can be consistent when it's easy, but it's the ones who are consistent when it's hard that truly grow. We all want success, but not everyone wants the price that comes with it. And that price is paid in discipline. It means sacrificing comfort now for greatness later. It means working when others are playing, studying when others are sleeping, believing in the vision when no one else sees it. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from discomfort, from resistance, from pressure. You don't build muscle by lifting light things. You build it by challenging yourself. The same goes for your mind. The more you discipline yourself, the stronger you become. You build habits that work in your favor. You create structure in your life. You learn to say no, not just to others, but to the parts of yourself that want to settle, give up, or take shortcuts. Most people wait until they feel ready, but discipline doesn't wait. Discipline says start now, do it anyway. You can't trust your feelings. They change with the wind. 1 minute you're fired up, the next you're tired. If you live your life by your feelings, you'll never build anything real. But when you live by disciplines, you create consistency. And consistency, even in small steps, will always beat random bursts of effort. People think they need to do everything perfectly, but they don't. What they need is to keep showing up, day in and day out, even if you're tired, even if you failed yesterday, even if no one else is watching. That's where growth lives, in the quiet, unglamorous moments where you choose to stick with the process. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's what takes your potential and turns it into power. You don't rise because of talent alone. You rise because of the effort you repeat daily. Discipline makes you dangerous in a world full of distractions. It sharpens your mind, strengthens your habits, and keeps you locked in on what matters most. There will be days when you doubt yourself, when your goals feel far away, when the pressure feels too heavy. But if you've been practicing discipline, you'll keep moving forward, not because you feel like it, but because it's who you are now. You've trained yourself to keep pushing, to keep climbing, to keep becoming. And every time you do that, you move closer to the person you were meant to be. Your mindset is your most powerful weapon. Sharpen it daily. Everything you experience in life, whether it builds you or breaks you, begins in the mind. The way you think, the way you interpret events, the way you talk to yourself when no one's around, these are the things shaping your future. You can have talent, resources, and opportunities handed to you, but if your mindset is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, none of it will matter. On the other hand, you can have nothing but a strong mind, and you'll find a way to win. That's the power of mindset. It either becomes your prison or your passport. Most people go through life with untrained minds. They let thoughts run wild. They believe every fear that enters their head. They react to life instead of responding to it with clarity. But building unbreakable mental strength means becoming intentional about your thoughts. It means not allowing every setback to define you. It means refusing to let someone's opinion become your reality. Sharpening your mindset is about creating a mental environment that supports growth, discipline, and resilience. You feed it with purpose. You protect it from doubt. You train it to focus on solutions, not just problems. Your mind is always listening to you. Every time you say you can't, every time you tell yourself you're not good enough, not ready, not strong enough, that voice becomes your truth. But you can shift that. You can speak differently to yourself. You can replace that inner critic with an inner coach, one that reminds you of your progress, one that pushes you to keep going when it gets hard. You do that through practice, repetition, and belief. You get up every day and decide what kind of mindset you're going to carry into the world. Is it one that folds under pressure or one that fights through it? Sharpening your mindset is not a one-time decision. It's a daily ritual. You read things that fuel your purpose. You watch things that lift you. You stay around people who speak life, not death, into your dream. You challenge your negative thoughts instead of feeding them. And most of all, you stay committed to becoming mentally stronger, even when life gives you every reason to give up. That's the difference between those who talk about success and those who live it. The ones who live it have mastered their minds. Life will always test your mindset. You will face setbacks, rejections, losses. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall through. But your response to those situations is what determines your direction. When you sharpen your mindset, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? That shift alone turns pain into power. It gives you the ability to rise while others are stuck. It teaches you how to see the opportunity in the obstacle, how to build even when it's broken, how to keep going when everything around you says stop. Most battles are won or lost before they even begin, right in your mind. That's why you've got to prepare it, strengthen it, stretch it. You got to condition your thinking like an athlete conditions their body. You visualize victory. You train for resilience. You expect challenges, but you don't fear them because you've already prepared yourself mentally. You've built the mindset of a warrior, a mindset that knows how to endure pain, how to adapt under pressure, and how to stay focused when life gets chaotic. No one is born with a perfect mindset. It's built over time, through the hard days, through discipline, through effort, through silence and reflection. And the more you build it, the more unshakable you become. Learn to be calm in chaos. Your peace is your power. In a world that never stops moving, where pressure builds and distractions are everywhere, the ability to stay calm is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Chaos will always exist. Challenges will keep coming. There will be noise, drama, negativity, and 100 things pulling at your attention. But your real power doesn't come from reacting to every situation. It comes from learning how to be still, how to be centered, how to respond with intention instead of impulse. That kind of calm is not weakness. It's strength. Under control. When everything around you feels out of order, that's when you have to find your inner order. You have to become the quiet in the storm. Because if you lose your peace, you lose your clarity. And once you lose clarity, you start making decisions from a place of panic, fear, or ego. That's when you say things you didn't mean. That's when you make moves you regret. Staying calm allows you to stay connected to your purpose. It gives you space to think, to assess, to move wisely. That's how leaders rise in chaos, not because they're the loudest, but because they're the most composed. Calmness doesn't mean you're emotionless. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've trained yourself not to let emotions dictate your actions. You've taught your mind to pause before reacting. That pause, that small gap between what happens and how you respond, that's where your power lives. Most people never master that. They reactive. Someone says something rude and they explode. A problem hits and they break down. But when you choose calmness, you become unshakable. You become the person in the room who everyone looks to, not because you have all the answers, but because you aren't falling apart like everyone else. It's not easy. Being calm takes effort. It takes discipline to not speak when you're angry, to not respond when provoked, to not chase chaos with more chaos. You build that discipline daily through mindfulness, through prayer, through silence, through practicing patience when everything inside you wants to lash out. You learn to breathe, to slow your thoughts down, to remember who you are and what you stand for. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Calmness becomes your default, not your exception. Your peace is also your protection. It keeps you from absorbing negativity that doesn't belong to you. It helps you walk away from things that drain you. It shields you from the weight of things you cannot control. Peace is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to remain whole in the middle of them. And when you operate from that space, you make better decisions. You communicate more clearly. You work more effectively. You think more creatively. Calmness unlocks a different level of awareness. You begin to see things others miss. You notice patterns. You spot opportunities. You anticipate challenges before they arrive. That's because your mind isn't cluttered with anxiety or noise. It's focused, clear, and sharp. The world rewards urgency, but real power respects stillness. You don't need to rush to prove anything. You don't need to panic to be productive. You just need to stay rooted. Trust yourself and believe that not every storm is meant to destroy you. Some are meant to strengthen you. And the best way to come out stronger is to stay calm while you're in it. Because when you hold your peace, you hold your power. And when you hold your power, nothing outside of you can truly shake what's inside of you. Every setback is mental weight training for your comeback. Most people fear setbacks because they see them as failures, as roadblocks that stop progress. But the truth is, setbacks are not the end of the road. They are the resistance your mind needs to get stronger. Just like your body doesn't grow without resistance, your mindset doesn't grow without challenge. You can't build endurance by walking downhill. You build it by climbing, stumbling, falling, and choosing to get up again. That's where the growth happens, in the struggle and the stress and the fire. Every time life knocks you back a few steps, it's handing you the tools to come back smarter, tougher, and more focused than before. We live in a culture that praises instant success. We scroll past people's wins, their highlights, their victories, and we don't see what they had to survive to get there. But behind every comeback story is a chapter of pain, of pressure, of personal doubt. Nobody talks about the lonely nights, the silent tears, the inner battles, but those are the very moments where mental strength is built. That strength doesn't show up on the surface at first. It grows silently beneath the pain, in the decisions you make when no one's watching. When you choose to keep going, even when everything in you wants to quit, you are lifting mental weight that most people avoid. A setback forces you to reassess. It teaches you humility. It brings you face to face with your weaknesses, your blind spots, your bad habits. But it also shows you what you're really made of. It shows you what you're capable of enduring. And if you use it right, it becomes the foundation of your next level. Most people want a comeback without the grind. They want success without scars. Well, the scars are proof that you made it through something. They're not signs of weakness. They're signs of survival, of strength, of fight. You don't get stronger by running from pain. You get stronger by facing it, learning from it, and using it. Every rejection is training you to believe in yourself more than you believe in someone else's opinion. Every failure is preparing you for the breakthrough you can't see yet. Every delay is developing patience and perseverance. That's mental weight training. You're not just surviving the moment, you're conditioning your mind to handle more, to expect more, to demand more from yourself and from life. The greatest strength you can build isn't physical, it's emotional resilience. It's the ability to stay focused under pressure, to stay hopeful during loss, to keep working even after you've been told no 100 times. That kind of mindset doesn't come naturally. It's built in the moments when you feel broken and you still choose to believe. It's forged in the pain of disappointment, in the silence of waiting, in the struggle of staying committed when results aren't showing up yet. You may not realize it in the moment, but those battles are shaping you. They're stretching you. They're giving you mental muscle that nothing and no one can take away. Every great comeback has one thing in common. Someone who refused to let the setback be their story. They used it, they transformed it, they let it teach them and fuel them. That's what you need to do every time you fall. Don't just bounce back, bounce forward. Learn from it, grow from it, make it count. Because every setback you face is an opportunity to come back stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before. It's training you for a version of yourself that's too strong to be broken, too focused to be distracted, and too resilient to ever be stopped. You don't need a perfect life. You need a resilient mind. Too many people spend their time chasing perfection. They want the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect timing, and the perfect path. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. Life is messy. It's unpredictable. Things fall apart. People leave, plans change. And no matter how carefully you try to control everything, something unexpected will always show up. If you base your peace on perfection, you'll never be at peace. That's why resilience is more important than perfection. Because resilience says, even when it's not perfect, I'm still moving forward. It's the mindset that allows you to keep showing up in an imperfect world. A resilient mind knows that obstacles aren't the enemy, they're part of the process. A resilient mind doesn't fall apart when things don't go according to plan. It adapts, it adjusts, it recalibrates. That kind of thinking can't be shaken by small things or even by big things because it's rooted in purpose, not perfection. People with resilient minds understand that the journey to anything worthwhile will come with setbacks, delays, and challenges. They don't panic when things go wrong. They pause, they assess, and they take the next step. That's the difference between people who give up and people who grow. It's not about circumstances, it's about mindset. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. You build it every time you fail and choose to keep going. You build it when you get your heart broken and still find the courage to love again. You build it when life knocks you down and you pull yourself back up, no matter how long it takes. And the beauty of resilience is that it doesn't require perfection. You can be flawed, tired, uncertain, and still be strong. Strength isn't loud. It's not about pretending you're okay. It's about knowing that even when you're not okay, you won't give up. You see, a perfect life will never teach you the lessons that a resilient mind will. A perfect life won't test your limits or reveal your depth. It won't build your patience or sharpen your focus. But adversity will, pressure will, struggle will. Those are the things that force you to dig deeper, to find strength you didn't know you had, to discover parts of yourself that only show up in the fire. That's where resilience is born, not in comfort, but in challenge, not in ease, but in effort. People often think that those who succeed had everything go right for them, but more often than not, they succeeded because they kept going when everything went wrong. They didn't wait for life to be perfect. They just decided to be resilient in the life they had. They trained their minds to focus on what they could control. They stopped trying to avoid problems and started learning how to overcome them. That's real power. That's real strength. Your life doesn't have to look like someone else's highlight reel for it to be meaningful. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be the kind of person who refuses to quit, the kind who falls and rises, stumbles and still move forward. That's what resilience looks like. It's messy, it's painful, it's uncertain, but it's also beautiful because it means you're still in the game. You're still growing, you're still fighting, and in a world that praises the illusion of perfection, being resilient is revolutionary. It means you can keep going, not because life is easy, but because your mind is strong, because your spirit is committed, because your heart refuses to settle, and because you know that it's not about having a perfect path, it's about having the mental grit to keep walking the one you're on.